heart of the vast African savanna, nestled among baobab trees and shimmering under the golden sun, there lay the kingdom of Mali. This kingdom was renowned not only for its wealth and beauty but also for its wise and just king, MUFARO. King MUFARO was beloved by his people, not just for his regal stature but for his wisdom that seemed to flow as freely as the rivers that nourished his lands. Tales of his sagacity spread far and wide, drawing visitors from distant lands seeking his counsel and wisdom. One day, word reached King MUFARO of a neighboring kingdom plagued by a mysterious illness. Their crops withered, their cattle fell sick, and despair gripped their hearts. The king, moved by compassion, decided to visit his troubled neighbors. Accompanied by his most trusted advisor, Kosana, and carrying only a small pouch of millet and honey, he set out on his journey. Upon arriving at the neighboring kingdom, King MUFARO was greeted by the sight of barren fields and solemn faces. The king of this land, King Tembo, welcomed MUFARO with gratitude mixed with desperation. They sat beneath the shade of an ancient acacia tree, and King Tembo poured out his troubles to MUFARO. "Our lands are cursed, wise MUFARO," lamented King Tembo. "No healer, no wise woman can tell us what ails us. Our people suffer, and hope is fading." King MUFARO listened attentively, his brow furrowed in deep thought. After a moment, he reached into his pouch and withdrew a handful of millet grains and a small jar of honey. "Tell your people to sow these millet seeds with care," King MUFARO instructed, his voice carrying the weight of certainty. "And let them sweeten their days with this honey." King Tembo was puzzled but nodded, trusting in the wisdom of his esteemed guest. The seeds were distributed among the villagers, who followed MUFARO's instructions with reverence. They planted the millet with meticulous care and savored the honey, finding solace in its sweetness during their trying times. Months passed, and to the astonishment of all, the millet flourished. Fields that were once barren now swayed with golden stalks, their heads heavy with plump grains. The people rejoiced, and their faith in King MUFARO's wisdom grew stronger. King MUFARO returned to his own kingdom, leaving behind a legacy of hope and gratitude. Yet, as time passed, King MUFARO faced a challenge within his own kingdom. A dispute arose between two villages over water rights to a prized river that flowed through their lands. Tempers flared, and it seemed that conflict was inevitable. Remembering the lessons learned from his journey, King MUFARO summoned the leaders of both villages to his court. With patience and empathy, he listened to their grievances and concerns. Then, he offered them each a small vial of water drawn from the very river in question. "Take these vials," King MUFARO proclaimed, his voice steady and sure, "and return here tomorrow at noon. Let the contents of these vials be your answer." The villagers departed, puzzled yet intrigued by their wise king's decree. The next day, as the sun reached its zenith, they gathered once more before King MUFARO. Each leader presented their vial, and to their amazement, the water from both vials was identical. "The river gives freely to all who draw from it," King MUFARO explained gently. "As should you, my people. Share the blessings of the river, and peace will flow through our lands." Moved by his wisdom and inspired by his example, the villagers embraced one another as brothers once more. They pledged to resolve their differences amicably and to honor the river's gift together. And so, the kingdom of Mali flourished not only in prosperity but in unity and peace. King MUFARO's name echoed through the ages, remembered not just as a ruler but as a beacon of wisdom and compassion for all who sought guidance. His tales traveled far and wide, whispered under the shade of baobab trees, and carried on the gentle winds across the vast African savanna.